using his freedom of speech to its fullest extent. It's John James and Freedom's Pep Rally. Now, America's friendliest host, your buddy, John James.
Our guest this hour is now this guy. We aren't, unfortunately, he's not in a place where he can do video this morning. Internationally, and I told you about this earlier, internationally renowned speaker, lecturer, commentator, best-selling author, runs Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness, FLAG, which is an organization that teaches civics and history and inspires students on the power of the American dream. And he's got his latest book is Trump and Reagan, Defenders of America. I like that. Nick, good morning. Welcome to Freedom's Pep Rally, sir.
Good morning, John. It's a pleasure to join you.
Now, where are you from? I was a little taken by your accent. You sound Australian.
I'm originally from Australia, now proudly an American. I legally immigrated to the United States of America 5 years ago, and I wake up every day and thank God that I'm here.
Oh, God bless you, Nick. Now, I've got to ask you this, what is going on in your former country?
Look, I don't really know all that much, to be honest with you, John, but I'm going by all the news reports and all the things that I'm sure that you and your listeners and viewers have seen as well. And that is basically that the Australian government rather foolishly has pursued this policy of zero COVID, which means that they're set in perpetual lockdowns because that's just an impossible target to reach. A lot of people have been fighting back because this has been happening now for the last 2 or 3 months. And as they have been doing that, they've been met with violence by the police and the government. And so, unfortunately, that's the situation down there.
Unbelievable. Now, as you said, thank God you were able to legally immigrate to America. Do you see some of these kind of edicts being pushed on us now and in the future by our current administration, Nick?
Well, I don't know about these specific edicts, John, but I certainly can tell you that we're more well and truly on the way to being a socialist country because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Adam Schiff and all the other no-hope mediocrities, unfortunately, that have so much power in the country. They seemed absolutely determined to change America from being the exceptional country that it is into looking like everywhere else. And that's a damn shame. And that just shows you how unbelievably stupid they are, that they don't even realize how great they have it, that they won the lottery of life when they were born here. They won the lottery of life being here, and they just want to throw it all away. They're ungrateful, they're not very intelligent, and they are doing Americans a tremendous disservice. And when you do Americans a tremendous disservice, John, you're doing a tremendous disservice to the entire world, because without the United States, Western civilization falls, and this is not a world that we want to live in.
Absolutely, boy. You sure put that well. And we're in the midst of a lot of stuff now with Afghanistan and with all of the illegal immigration coming in. And I know you don't have a lot of time. I would love to spend more time with you at some point talking about all of this. But you are one of the things you do is you speak. You do rallies, you are an inspirational speaker, and you are an educator. What is going on with education in this country when it comes to history and social studies? And how can people get involved? How can we get education in America back on the right track, Nick?
John, I set up an organization called FLAG, the Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness. The website is flagusa.org. flagusa.org, and we're all about teaching civics and putting patriotism back in public schools. And the way that we do it is by visiting classrooms, is by creating resources that relate to the founding documents. So we created the world's first kid-friendly constitution, Declaration of Independence, selected readings of the Federalist Papers, and the Student's Guide to the Electoral College. because it's so important that every young American knows what makes this country great and that they've got the confidence to defend it. Right now, America is under attack in K-12 classrooms. It's being painted as a racist, awful country that has so much to apologize for, and the whole thing, John, is just a steaming pile of excrement. This is the greatest country in the world. Has America made mistakes? Of course it has. Just like any human being, America is not perfect, but it's the best thing that we've got, and if we didn't have it, we wouldn't want to be around. And so when we go to a school, we're making sure that these kids know that the day that they were born here or the day that they moved here permanently is the day that they won the lottery of life, that they got this amazing head start on anyone and everyone. We make them realize that the Constitution is special, that every single time any other country has written a constitution, it's always set out the powers of the government and the limits of the individual. But the United States Constitution, its exceptionalism began when the founders did exactly the opposite with the US Constitution, laying out the powers of the individual and the limits of the government. So every single American parent and grandparent, teacher needs to be on top of their students, on top of their children, explaining to them what really is the truth about the United States of America and its place in this world.
Wow. Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness, flag.org. You've got kid-friendly Constitution, Declaration of Independence. This is amazing. And I would encourage every parent, grandparent, every citizen to go to flag.org and get the information on this stuff. Now, can we see, is this stuff for purchase? Can we use it to help schools introduce curriculum?
Absolutely. All of the above. Just a small correction, John. Thank you very much for plugging it, but it's flagusa.org. Flagusa.org. That's the website. That's where you can go and find, we're a 501c3, we're a non-profit organization, so all purchases, all donations are 100% tax deductible, so people can go on there and order. You can also order on my personal website, nickadamsusa.com. That's nickadamsusa.com.
Okay, so I've corrected that, and I have now got it up on the screen. Flagusa.org, flagusa.org, and it's Nick Adams.
USA.com.
nickadamsusa.com, nickadamsusa.com. Well, this is great stuff. I love this. So you have basically got it's a ready to roll out curriculum, or is it just do teachers make their own curriculum up and use these as maybe guides and handouts and textbooks?
Our resources, John, are a supplementary material to the original documents. Of course, there'll never be a substitute for the real Constitution, the real Declaration of Independence, the real Federalist Papers. The reason why we did students' version of these is that when I started going into public schools back in 2016, I got the feedback from the kids that they liked the founding documents, but that they were turned off by them because they couldn't understand them, because the language was too hard and too old and everything else. And so I thought, well, why don't we get together with some constitutional law experts, and why don't we go and write these things up without losing the meaning, but in plain, simple, easy to understand English, so that these kids can enjoy it, and also put in some illustrations and some student activities and things like that. And so we now have more than 1 million school children across America, John, with at least one of our 4 resources.
Oh,
so
my.
We're a rocket ship at the moment.
Unbelievable. I love this, Nick. I love this. This is, and you know what? I've got to be honest with you. I would never admit this on the radio or anything like that, but I would actually like to read the founding documents, geared more toward kids, so I could understand more of the verbiage. Whoops, I just said it on the radio.
listen, all of us can benefit from it, let me tell you. But I know a lot of Democratic congressmen and women and senators, and maybe even a president that could use it.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely right. We're talking with Nick Adams, runs the Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness. It's flagusa.org, or go to nickadamsusa.com. And I know you're on a clock here, but before we let you go, tell us a little bit about your new book, Trump and Reagan, Defenders of America.
Look, I've been a big fan of Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan all of my life. I've been a student of both men. I'm just about to turn 37 in a couple of days, so I wasn't around for Reagan, or I was around, but I don't really remember any of it. So I've just studied him. Donald Trump, I was on the Trump train from day one, the 16th of June 2015, when he came down the escalator. And pretty early on, John, I realized that Trump was our new Reagan, that all of these GOP presidential candidates and presidents in between, that they really didn't cut the mustard, and that really we went from Reagan to Trump. And they were both transformative, both consequential. I saw a lot of parallels beyond the obvious, which, and when you look at it at first sight, really think they've got all that much in common. But I realized that they did have an enormous amount in common, and so I wanted to explore both. The book is also a great resource. It's got the 5 best speeches of both men, in my opinion, in the back, because I want to make sure that, again, our young people can read the words of 2 men that got America, that understood America, that loved America, and that had the right vision for America's future.
Why aren't there more people like you, Nick Adams? You are absolutely amazing, and I could talk with you all hour, and I hope you will come back with us. I really do.
Well, I would be delighted to join you, and maybe one day we can even do it in person. That'd be even better.
Oh, that.
Yeah, but I think that everybody, we've got to really tap into everybody's patriotism. I want people to realize where the United States is as a country. I speak with the zeal of a convert because I wasn't born here, and often people that aren't born here have a greater appreciation because a spectator sees more of the game. And I know how special this place is. This country has been unbelievably good to me. I've got a life now that I could never have had in Australia or anywhere else, and I want to give back. I want to make sure that every single person in the United States knows how special and how lucky we are to be here, and I want them to. I want this place to stay the same, John. You know, we've got 55 years left to really make our not fall. You know, we need to make that 3rd centennial. So 2076 is what it's all about, and so we need to keep fighting.
Amen. Amen. That's so well said. And you know what, Nick Adams, sometimes it takes somebody from another place to tell us how good it is here, because we see this all the time, and it's so disheartening. There are so many people here who take what we have for granted, who want to throw it all away to try socialism, right, to try utopia, because they've never lived through it, and they think it's going to be different because Bernie Sanders says it will.
It's not going to be any different, I can tell you. In fact, if America stays true to form, then even the socialism will be exceptional. It will be worse than anywhere else.
You're something else. Listen, Nick, I will let you go, and I'm sorry for keeping you longer than we had planned. But you're a good man. You are a great man, and you deserve everything America has to offer, and you are giving back in a huge way.
I appreciate it, John. I'm going to keep doing it. And like I say, everyone's got to be on Project America because this is the only project left.
Amen. It's flagusa.org. FLAG stands for Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness. flagusa.org. You can also go to nickadamsusa.com. Get the founding documents, much easier to read. They're geared towards students, and we need to get them for our kids. It would be a great way to introduce real history into your school district, especially now when, the rights of our kids to not be indoctrinated are under attack. Nick Adams, I wish you a great Labor Day weekend, and I hope we have you back really, really soon.
Look forward to it, John.